Thank you for everyone for joining us. To start off with, it's my pleasure to introduce the Community Champion Award. This is an award that is given out annually by the ACLCO to a community partner who has championed the cause of the clients and communities that legal clinics serve. It celebrates the hard work for those who stand up for the most marginalized and disadvantaged in our communities. It is my pleasure to ask Yodit to come up and introduce our award to our community champion for this year.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yodit Adamariam. I am a lawyer and the Director of Legal Services at the Rexdale Community Legal Clinic. It was our extreme pleasure to have nominated the extraordinary tenants of 2757 Kipling Avenue to recognize their brave and successful organizing efforts against a huge landlord this past year. And they have also sown the seeds of a tenant movement in Rexdale. Yeah, good job. They have been led by Fadumo Mohammed, who's here, Orsame Abdirahman, Brenda Nairn, Albert Charles, Laura Loepke, Alicia Critchlow, and Dio Bisnoth, and supported by Bruno Doperson of the York Southwestern Tenant Union. Thank you to the ACLCO for voting to award this incredible group of people with this year's Community Champion Award. I will be leaving it to Fadumo, Albert, Laura, and Bruno to tell you their story of what happened. They're here to represent the tenants, but I would just like to highlight a few quick points before I invite them to come up here. Our experiences this year with tenant organizing in Rexdale have been an important reminder of the vital need for community organizing that occurs in a grassroots way, and the manner in which legal clinics can support such efforts without taking center stage. This is not work that fits neatly into statistics for any funding application. But in addition to the actual victories of tenants and that they could never have obtained through formal legal processes or solely through legal processes, we have seen clearly that supporting community members collectively saves scarce resources of legal clinics. Such organizing recognizes that individuals alone and legal clinics working in isolation cannot successfully respond to increasingly crushing systemic issues such as poor rent control, above guideline rent increases, unaffordable rents fueled by vacancy decontrol, anti-immigration sentiments and xenophobia, as well as the cost of living crisis caused by things like the abysmal social assistance rates and a low minimum wage in the province. The tenant organizing efforts in Rexdale and across the province are happening in a moment where tenant rights are under attack, and the very ability of people living on low incomes to live a dignified life is also under attack. And this is most recently, as we know, in the form of Bill 60. It's extremely important for legal clinics to recommit to our more radical roots and support these efforts. I'll also add that what our clinic has been able to support this past year has been a singularly profound, deeply inspiring, and watershed moment in my own legal career. I'm so grateful to you for this. It has shown me that legal clinics can consistently reimagine the work we do in the face of crushing demand for our services and in the context of austerity, chronic underfunding, and the relentless attacks on our client communities. For sure, the individual casework of legal clinics is essential, but we should not be satisfied with only harm reduction, but rather, as much as possible, we need to keep blending our particular resources and skills to supporting broad movements for social change. So it has been an honor of a lifetime to support community members in Rexdale as they continue to put up the bravest of fights for their homes and communities. And I'm beyond excited to be introducing you to the tenants of 2757 Kipling Avenue.
Seriously, ladies first. Oh, good. Yes. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. I'm so happy to be here and be a part of this. We were all absolutely floored when we all got our notifications. Three years. They were counting up 3 years because I didn't participate in the little increase for this year, little increase for next year, and little increase. And I thought, well, we'll just play it out and see how it goes. I got a $4,000 bill that they wanted to catch up on all their annual increases. I spoke to my neighbor. They got a $5,000 bill, which I found really odd because they've lived there longer than I have. And I'm like, what do we do? What do we do? Like, I didn't know Bruno. I didn't know we had this type of community, which is absolutely fabulous because now we know we have some direction. Albert knocked on my door and he started his own personal petition. And he wanted to take it further, take it to the news, CBC, whatever, anybody that would listen. And we talked 20 minutes, half an hour at my door, and I thought, I had absolutely no idea what direction we were gonna take, and I'm gonna follow this man. And if he's gonna do that, and I volunteered, I said, you do what you think you need to do, and then we just got introduced with Bruno, and the rest is history. This lovely lady helped out with all the flyers. We had amazing attendance. Once all our neighbors knew what we wanted to do, I think our very first meeting in the lobby, we had 100 people. I'm not kidding. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. So people need direction. They need to know they're not alone. Me sitting here wondering, how am I going to come up with $4,000, you know? It's tough. And yeah, they want their rent increase and this and that, and you know what my unit is going for now? For new tenants, it's exactly double what I pay. I'm not kidding. Double what I pay. And it's the same with a lot of buildings in the area. You need, I don't know, at least 2 incomes just to rent in a not the best neighborhood, but it's our home. It's our home, and we have to do whatever we can to make things better. Somebody else take over.
Good evening. My name is Albert Charles. I've been living at 2757 Kipling for 19 years. And when the AGI came up, I got upset because I know there are people, there are elderlies who can't afford the AGI. So when I did the petition, I didn't do it for myself. I did it for everybody. Right? Because I got mad. Because people started coming up to me and said, what are you going to do? You know, people started looking up to me and said, Albert, please, do something. And, you know, Fatuma here, you know, Bruno, Bruno is very inspiring. Bruno has been there from the beginning. You know, Fatuma has been there. She has made sure the flyers has been handed out. Everything has been, we were just doing it as a team. That AGI brought us together. And because of that AGI, the landlord saw that we were able to stand up. And because we stood up for ourselves, and thank God for the legal clinic. We had the legal clinic as our backup. That's our muscle. Yeah. So we got more courage having the legal clinic on our side. So we fought a great fight. But the legal clinic helped us have courage, and we were able to stand up to the landlord, knowing that we have lawyers with us, that we're not blind, we're not going into this blind. We have people to direct us in the right direction, and you know, thank you, thank you. That's one thing we gotta say. Thank you, and I hope that the legal clinic stays there for a very, very long time.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody. Laura, Albert, Odumo. I would just say, so I'm Bruno with the York Southwestern Tenant Union. We are just south of Kipling, but we've been expanding. Why not? You know, where there is organizing to do, we're going to show up. That's basically it. And thank you. I'll say two things. One that they haven't mentioned. So the fight of these tenants is this group of, in one building, won $1 million back to tenants in 2 buildings, their building and next door. So those $4,000 that Laura was talking about, that was $5,000 for others, that got canceled because tenants got together, not only put together the petitions, but they sent enough messages to, we're not talking about a small landlord, one of the biggest landlords in Canada, who had to get their CEO to come to the building, meet to the tenants, go through a hallway full of tenants waiting to see what the CEO is going to negotiate, and actually end up negotiating with people. And that's, I think, a historic win, not just for them, but for the neighborhood and for all of the tenant community. You scare Metcalf, that's not that easy. I've tried and it never worked. So I would say just another important part, which is the role of the clinic, because I know everybody here comes from a clinic and you're going through a lot of frustrations, lack of funding, overwork, dealing with individual cases. But I can tell you that there is community there being ready to be supported, and not necessarily, you don't have to take the lead, but the people are there ready to be connected. You play such a vital role in our communities. We wouldn't have been able to do this without the Rexel Legal Clinic behind us. And it's not necessarily because they said, look, we're going to tell you what to do. But they came to us and said, look, this is happening. We're tired of dealing with one-on-one eviction hearings at the LTV that frustrates everybody. What else can we do? And we're willing to support that. And I think just that opening created so much. So now on Kipling, it's not just their buildings, it's not just the next door building, it's 6 different buildings that are getting organized and having similar wins. So the message perhaps today is that we're in a tough time. We're now fighting Bill 60. They're taking a lead in this fight as well, because it's also Doug Ford's own writing. But I just want you all to go maybe back home, wherever your clinic is, thinking, how can I support the organizing that may already be happening in the community? And it won't necessarily mean that you have to put all of your efforts into that. It might be already happening, and sometimes all it's needed is just a meetings place, some printing, a little bit of guidance, and I think the community will be ready to basically make the fight that they already have even bigger. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for the award. Thanks for the nomination. And yeah, thanks.